Hello, everyone. Are you bored yet? Cryptocurrency, is it losing momentum? What's going to happen next? We need to talk about it. We're going to do some price analysis, breakdowns, and I also want people to give me some requests. I'll look at some chat. So let me know where you're from. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know if you're bored or if you're thinking about quitting. And we'll get into it. Nice, relaxed, probably a shorter stream than normal. We'll look at some TA, we'll look at some news and bits and bobs. But yeah, like always, smash the like button. Let's get as much reach as possible. Hit that subscribe button. And I think we just need to kind of get into it, really. Like always, though, yes, as I say, hit the subscribe button. We are actually getting some momentum. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but there's a nice little tick to the upside. Woohoo! We've bottomed, kind of ish. I don't know. We've got quite a few subscribers over the last couple of weeks, sort of thing. How are we doing? Oh, yeah, it's going up quite a bit too far. Pretty impressive considering. So yeah, can I do real time? No. Yeah, that'll do. Anyways, I'll look at the chat in a minute. As I say, I'll give people a chance to pile in. I will look at the comments and stuff. But hey, hello, Pig Monkey. Hope you're doing well. Scrambled eggs on. You know something? Scrambled eggs is probably something that I should be eating right now because I've got a lot of eggs to use, and I should. Although, have you ever had an egg, scrambled egg, in a wrap? And then you put it in an air fryer and just make it a little bit more crisp. It's amazing with a bit of cheese and a bit of hot sauce. Brilliant. Astro Steel. Yeah, new Carla manager is Mark Hughes. It's not gone down very well, I'll be honest, but I think it'll be fine. Personal opinion. But we'll see how things go. Hello, Matt. Appreciate these live chats. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, big up the UK. The UK have like, ooh, we do not want to give people access to crypto anymore because it becomes quite a pain in the ass, which is really, really irritating. Hello, Alison from Nigeria. I think most of us hold and forget till the summer. Yeah, I think my opinion is I think people are getting bored now. Genuine thing is boredom right now. Market fatigue's kicking in, but that's usually when markets react, right? But anyways, I want to talk about something that's quite obvious in the room, and it's not going to be a lot today. Not much news is happening. Just the obvious in the room, really. And I think it goes with the fatigue. And then, as I say, if people want to get their requests in once I've done jabbering, I will talk about certain things or do some analysis or give you an opinion of what I think. Whether that opinion's good or not, I don't know. But yeah, I've just seen your question there, Jack, in terms of Bitcoin dominance. Are we expecting it to go higher? I'll look at that too. Just remind me. I might forget. I might go on a tangent. So, firstly, on-chain metrics. Now, this is different to the one I normally talk about. This is the price performance since halving. Now, my personal belief is quite obvious, really. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Diminishing returns, right? Every single, situation, we're going to get a less, let's be honest, less gains in Bitcoin. But it's becoming more stable. Right now, we're kind of somewhat on path. I think if we're going to start shooting, it's going to be interesting. 1 year from halving, it's on my chart, it's quite key. Talked about it yesterday. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any live streams, essentially. We talked about the fact that, well, maybe 180 days from 1 year from halving is usually when the market does top out. That's quite a reliable indicator, weirdly. And you've also got other indicators, which I will go on to. There's a literal web page I've got, which is called Bull Market Peak Signal Checklist, right? So that could be something that we can keep looking at and going towards and having a little situation around it, because I think people will find that that might be something to look at because there's quite a few metrics on there. Anyways, performance of Bitcoin since cycle low, still one par. But as I say, this is a checklist, right? At the minute, it's currently saying 100% hold, which I know, very, very vague. But you've got all these different things. You've got, certain rainbow charts. You've got the pie chart. You've got ETF to BTC ratio. You've got all kinds of metrics here, which is absolutely hitting nothing at the minute. Now, I know this is very, very speculative, and I know it could be very, very wishy-washy. But ultimately, let's be honest here, nothing's triggering euphoria. That peak sort of, oh God. So that's the situation in itself, right? So be mindful of that. But let me know what you guys think. Obviously, there's multiple different things here. I've not really looked at each one individually. Obviously, you got Bitcoin dominance as well. That's an interesting point too. Altcoin index, obviously. You know, RSI sort of levels. Yeah, cool. Momentum. Bubble index. Yeah, whatever. But like when we start clicking on them and looking at each one, we're kind of at the point where it's like, well, look at the Google Trends here. No one is talking about us. Look how many people on my live stream. There's not many people here. People feel like, you know, that giving up sort of vibe, right? And obviously, yes, it's all speculative in terms of, well, what's going to happen next. But the reality is here, people like green candles. Obviously, the tweets, I mean, that's quite. Don't know what's happened to the chat, to be fair. But you get the idea, right? So my point is, I don't think we're at euphoria. There's a lot of people that are talking about, well, this could be the cycle top. Could be. But I don't think we've had that kind of boost yet. Even the pie top indicator, I've talked about this in previous videos. There's a potential crossover that could be happening. Whenever this crosses, it tends to be somewhat at the top. Be mindful of it. It's a really, that's a shit chart, by the way. But that's a really good indicator, realistically, in terms of what to look at. And I've talked about it before. But I think another thing, and hello, everyone. I will get to the chat in a minute. Make sure you leave a like. Once people get in, people slowly do dribble in on lives, and then once they're in, they're in. Hello. So the one thing that I do want to talk about is obviously this, right? I don't know. So I've gone back to a tweet back in September, and I bookmarked it and liked it for a reason. I thought I'd bring it out at some point. And I have today. I think one of the biggest reasons, there's two reasons now. There's two obvious reasons. The first reason is stuff like this. I think the fatigue is people were expecting much better than what, you know, the perception was in terms of 2024. We had a fantastic year. I did. And if you're in my Telegram or if you're in my Discord and whatever, you'll know my portfolio was like 82, 83% Bitcoin. Did all right. I did all right. But people probably were expecting more. And $355,000 in 2024, I've seen numbers like that bounded around all across of last year. I had people in my live streams. I got back on, back in the Learning Crypto ones talking about, well, it's going to go to like this number and whatever. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this cycle we're going to be very, very disappointed in terms of, well, stuff like this. I think if we get anything near $350,000, I think I'll be tickled pink with that. And I've said it before in previous live streams. I cannot compute over $300,000 in this cycle. I just can't get my head around it. That's why my box is certainly around $150,000 to $200,000. That one more leg up, right? So stuff like that makes it much, much harder for people to stay the course, especially when you look at the price action, when the price action is like this. When we've had situations, right, where we've had consolidation ranges and then a pump, and then from March, literally, all the way into September, where we range like buggery and it was an absolute mess. People were not happy. Then obviously, yes, we squirted to the upside. Yay. But we're kind of doing that same situation where we're kind of a bit floating around, flopping around. We're kind of stuck in, choppy waters and it's a bit crap. And people have been majorly chopped up. And this is why I'm talking about momentum is probably getting lost here, because people are just giving up. People are walking away. And you can see that all across the board. All across the board. And there's no argument to it. Price action is what attracts people to markets, right? Volatility, the ability to make money, the ability to invest in stuff and hopefully turn some profit. But I'm seeing the chat now. The reality is retailers don't have money to buy crypto. Yeah, but ultimately, if they think they're going to make money, they will invest. Right now, not yet. So it's interesting. But yeah, I will look at the chat in a minute. But one thing I want to talk about, let's do some analysis. I'll talk about what I want to talk about, then I will get some requests. So feel free to put in some requests. They have to be on TradingView. They don't have to be, well, please don't be shitcoins, so to speak. If you do want more content on technicals, I do request every now and again on my Patreon technical analysis videos and stuff like that. This one gives you the Discord, this one doesn't. So you don't have to spend loads if you just want extra videos, by the way. This is the last discount I'm doing. I will close my Patreon, i.e. close it to the public. It will be an exclusive club, so do not miss out. Right, firstly, it very much is, as you can see here, shitcoin season for a lot of things. Obviously, certain things have pumped. Hype, for example, has done very well since its launch. Obviously, Algorand's done okay. Obviously, XLM, Hedge, we all know that, right? What is interesting is the fact that a lot of altcoins have really struggled over the last 90 days. And that is fucking dire by looking at all of these. And there's some decent altcoins here as well, which you'd think would do well. Now, why is that a situation? Well, we have this every single cycle where we have an altcoin capitulation. Reason being, people are not interested, liquidity gets drained, and certain things just wash elsewhere. Basically, to Bitcoin. ETFs are doing well, and we are in this kind of mid-range, realistically. So let's look at this a bit deeper, right? Let's have a little look. 3-day time frame, right? Obviously, I've marked out the top here. This is a Fibonacci level, and this is kind of like a little box where we've essentially, you could argue, it's probably a liquidity zone right now, where liquidity goes in, we back up. There's only so many times that we're going to get washed into here, then spat back out, right? Whether that momentum changes or not, I don't know. That's the thing. We need something to trigger it. We need something to change. At the minute, on this momentum indicator here, which you can get in the Traders Lounge on Learning Crypto, by the way, which is currently at the minute, it is a pending hidden bullish divergence, right? It helps you spot it. So there may well be a trend continuation, providing if this candle closes in 2 days' time with good momentum, we might well start to see us going a little bit higher, potentially in and around where this zone is. We'll probably find ourselves potentially in and around that 100k level. Be mindful of it, because I think that 100k level needs to be squashed very, very hard, because it seems to be a really good place for stopping and starting. If I just do this, there's a kind of a nearly a tap there around 99,000, 100k, 100k. Are we going to go there again? Maybe. We'll see. So be mindful of that. There's a lot of noise in and around. Obviously, I showed you the line because it's easy, because it shows you the absolute closures. Doesn't when it's a candle, for obvious reasons. So that's kind of the midway point. This is a low point, and this is obviously the range high. Realistically, that's why it's boring. That's why altcoins don't do anything. But ultimately, I said it before yesterday, if you know this. If Bitcoin does nothing, i.e., we go back to ranges like this where there's not a lot happening over a period of time. This is a 3-day time frame, and not a lot happened here, apart from one deviation up and one down. Altcoins ran and kind of squirted to the upside. You also had it here as well, where nothing happened for a while. That kind of made them coil a little bit. So we need a bit of like basically nothingness. Just stop doing something, right? So ideally, we want that just to range around 100k for a while. Might allow altcoins to breathe, because when you look at altcoins, they're down here. And Ethereum is still trying to make its little way down to here, down 2.5% or 2.15% today. Oops. Polkadot, new lows, disgusting. Dogecoin, ew. Lots of things look awful right now. So yeah, it's not looking great. And that's going to kind of wash people out the wrong way and get people upset, which makes sense. I'll be honest with you. I don't think people like it. I understand why. It makes sense. It makes sense why people get washed out. And yeah, I'll have a look at some things in a minute. But yeah, got some question about dominance, which is good to see. Yeah, so let's talk about the nitty gritty of something. The one thing I think people are forgetting, dominance is high. It's usually an indicator for something, which is obvious. Well, you should probably be considering your altcoin positions right now, as you can see by this big grey box, which I've had on my chat for yonks, right? Obviously, mentioned it in yesterday's live stream, the total 3. Are we going to go back down to here, or are we going to stop and turn around? But a lot of altcoins in the USD pairs, right, are starting to show. Wait a minute, bear with me. There we go. We'll go to like the 8-hour time frame and the 6-hour. There you go. A lot of altcoins in the USD pairs are slowly, now it's not perfect, trying to consolidate and stop, right? Obviously, Ethereum, Polkadot, Doge, Dog. Don't think that'll work. Borg, yeah, kind of. AVAX, yeah. So a lot of them are trying to kind of stop. And you could argue maybe we've found a level here, but it's early. But what does this mean? Well, it might mean because Bitcoin's going to start coiling up to the upside, potentially, and going on and retesting up here. But I don't want that to happen. I want us to get boring and sit around here for obvious reasons, as I've alluded to it, right? So be mindful of that. So yeah, the biggest thing that could happen here, we get to this point and reject and go down to here. That will hurt altcoins tremendously, and Bitcoin dominance will go even higher. So let's talk about the Bitcoin dominance question, right? Let's go back to the question. What we got? Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance. And I'll get to other questions that are above it as well. Bear with me. Do you think the BT dominance will top out at 67 or 71%? Now, that's quite an obvious random question, obviously. But the thing is, Bitcoin dominance is an index, right? For obvious reasons. If you remove stable currencies out of it, so if I do it without stable currencies, there you go. it's 65%. So you can argue, yeah, that's got some weight to it. If my personal opinion is if we didn't have them ISO coins pump, which kind of happened out of nowhere and it kind of got people excited, obviously XRP and stuff, we probably would be at that 67% level, in my opinion, with dominance included of the stables, because they've all done well. The thing is, right, let's look at the past. Let's zoom out. We always have these spikes to the upside, and I feel like we're having that spike now. For me, 66% would be huge. But I think we're getting to the point where we are going to start topping soon. Because let's be honest, my opinion is Ethereum can't go much lower than it is. It's ridiculously low. That is stupid. Like going back down to 2018 levels is low. That's like, okay, take notice. Should keep an eye on that. Because when you start noticing levels like that, you're probably thinking, you know what, I should probably start buying it. Now, I'm not going to be buying Ethereum for obvious reasons because I don't like it. But, you know, it's more of a mental note for me knowing that, well, the market fatigue is getting to that point where we have gone from stupid levels all the way to 2018, 2019, 2020 levels for Ethereum. What is happening? That is an indication that altcoins are getting tired. Even Solana, right? Let's talk about Solana. Solana has been the best thing since sliced bread, according to many people. I've held Solana. I'm happy with owning Solana. I play in their ecosystem. But when you talk about the fact that since this time period here, all the way across of 413 days, we've been in a range. That's a BTC pair. When you compare this to the USD pair, it looks the total opposite. Basically, the USD pair looks like that. You'll see it in a second. Remember it? There you go. See the difference? That's what's interesting. That's why I think people have fatigue, because they're expecting things to fly, but they're not. It's mainly because Bitcoin has done the thing. And I've just deleted my entire Solana thing off that because I pressed the wrong button because I'm an idiot. I always do that on here for some reason. Don't know why I do it. I just do it. Put it back. Basically, don't press the delete button. Oopsie. So yeah, dominance. Well, as I say, all of these are low. Even BNB, 2%. Solana's only 3% of the market. Probably you could argue undervalued, right? Obviously, Ethereum is going toward, wow, it already was, down to those single digit numbers. Oof. So yeah, time to buy? Potentially. Are people getting bored now? Yes, 100%. People quitting? Yes, 100%. I've just done it again. I've just pressed the delete button because I'm an absolute arsehole. It's because I've got, I know why. It's because I've got that on. Oh, God. How not to use TradingView by Market Mobster. Buy the course today. Sorry, put it back in. Bosh. Other things that are doing terrible. Stacks, disappointed. Unbelievable. Talk about getting destroyed. Polkadot's not doing great neither. ICP, no, I'm not even going to look at that. Christ. Chainlink's not doing great neither. So everything's call it a big brush. Everything is looking the same. Literally looking the same. Right, what other questions have we got? Bank of England reduces base rate today. Yep, they have by 25 basis points, I believe. Can't remember off the top of my head. Again, we were kind of somewhat expecting that. If you're not yet done so, leave a like. Let's get as many viewers as possible. Let's share it out. Let's get people on the live streams and having a bit of fun. Not that this is fun. It's crypto losing momentum. Live breakdowns. How poor we're going to be by the end of the week. Groundhog Day in crypto. People should check out for a bit. And yeah, I think there's a lot of fatigue. I'm away at the end of the month, so I can get away for a week, so you can all have in peace and quiet. Why does Solana manage to get such mainstream adoption when other chains exist in same speed? I mean, what I've proven before, literally in that segment, was the fact that Solana hasn't had much price action versus BTC, but what it has got is a phantom wallet, for example, right? When we look at, like, obviously, hold on, if I go onto cryptocurrencies and go Solana, right? If we're looking at the obvious in the room, it doesn't have as much volume as Ethereum. It doesn't have as much market cap as Ethereum. But what it does have is some really nice looking wallets. For example, Phantom, right? If you never used Phantom before, I don't know what you're doing. Your granny can use this. It's amazing. Works fantastically, right? But everything goes into Ethereum as well. You can always use your Ethereum. You can also put your Bitcoin on this as well. And there's all kinds of stuff you can do, right? Not a paid plug, just an obvious situation. Now, that's the difference. Ethereum's quite hard to use. I still think it's hard to use. It's like, what the hell? I've got to do this. That, and this is kind of like an element of it, but in a much easier more obvious form. But also, as well, bad news creates press. And the one thing that Solana got absolutely butchered for was can't tell the time. It kept crashing. It wasn't fast enough. It wasn't cheap enough. It was an absolute calamity crash. Obviously, the FTX situation as well. People just got, just got involved in it. And once they released the right things, it just worked. It's great. Here we are. I still think this is undervalued. Personal opinion. I think this can go higher. That's just my overall opinion on it. I think it can because this is where we are. Yes, it looks better in USD, obviously. But I say that about a lot of things. I say the same about stacks. I think that's undervalued. Whether it is or not, I don't know. The problem is altcoins are not great at the minute. Even if it is Solana, even if it's Dogecoin, even if it's Cardano, even if it's Chainlink, right? Even if it's Near, whatever, right? Insert altcoin here. Over the last 3 years, done shit. That's basically how it looks overall. That doesn't mean it's going to happen forever, though, does it? Will probably change. There will be a tide change. It'll catch people out. The last thing you'll do is you'll sell your bag. 2 days later, you'll come back and look, and you've noticed that your bags have gone 300%. And you're like, what the hell have I done here? So yeah, that's kind of the tale of how crypto works. You will sell your bag, and then it will pump, literally. There's not enough cheap money around to pump the price. I think alts are completely shook. Yeah, it would take a significant amount of money. I think it wouldn't be so much the amount of money. I think it's more the fact of what will move and what it will create that kind of driven interest. And I think the driven interest will come to certain ones. Obviously, I think Solana will do well. I think certain big boy assets will do well. Just depends on where we go. Can I have a look at Moonwell? Moonwell's an interesting one. Let's have a little look at. See, Moonwell was very much covered in my Discord for a long time. And like everyone was like, wow, I really like this, right? And I have no issues with it at all. What caught me off guard was the fact that Coinbase listed it. And even still, right? Yeah, Coinbase, you can take it with a pinch of salt. But the fact that Coinbase listed it, it did really well off that. And it's got decent volume from there. Kind of ish. What's interesting about it is the fact that there's no follow through from any other exchange. It's kind of a bit disappointing, really. Like, okay. So yeah, let's have a look at the price analysis of it. Let's have a look. Is it well? Moonwell. Hold on. Moonwell. There we go. US dollar. I don't even know how long we've been on. I'll do Qcoin. There we go. So yeah, I mean, look at the state of that. I mean, that is just, it's like proper altcoins have just been butchered by whatever. So in terms of levels, for obvious reasons, this is another thing as well, another point that we need to address in the room. I wouldn't say every altcoin, obviously, but altcoins have corrected, like in terms, I wouldn't say textbook, but enough to kind of go, you know what? If we go lower than this, there's something wrong, right? And let's just talk about the obvious in the room. From the high to now, it's down 69, 70%, give or take. It's pretty big, that. Obvious lower high into a correction. Now, if we're going to look at other situations, bear with me. Go away. Fibonacci, for example. Look at that. Perfect into this sort of region. So you're looking at that level, realistically, that level, huge. Fills it quite nicely in and around. Obviously, yes, you can go low, which is married up with this level. Can we go back down to August levels? Maybe. But it's a whole situation is simple. Buy as far away from all-time high as possible. Buy when you can. And just depends on your conviction. Obviously, conviction is key. If you don't have conviction, there's no point. So yeah, like anything, do your research. But if, a lot of people ask me questions about, oh, when do you buy? Well, if you were bold enough to wanting to buy up here or at these kind of levels, and you're not considering buying at these levels, then you've got something a little bit wrong in terms of your sentiment. Now, for me, I could say the same about stacks. I'm going to buy more. I'm going to buy more of some other bits and pieces. Nothing crazy though, but just enough to get dollar cost average down, because why not? These are like opportunities, and we go back in time on any asset and it all looks the same. I wish it was low. I wish I bought more when it pumps. But then when it comes here, everyone's like, oh, I'm afraid now. Don't want to do it. So that situation, pretty interesting. Obviously, yeah, we've had some bullish divergence, but they failed. Right now, it's got to consolidate and chill. But ultimately, it's at key historic levels from 2024 here. Could do very well. And again, of what it is, in terms of the overall situation around it, simple, right? Lending made simple. Put your digital assets to work. Lend or borrow. Seems like the perfect situation for a bullish market, i.e., when people return to it. So stuff like that is going to be very, 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 very interesting, potentially. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe, we'll see. What else have we got? Mikey says, smash the like button. Yes. Only 37 likes. Come on, let's get over 100. If we get over 100, I will do the next one in... No, I won't. In the buff. No, definitely not. Turbo. What is Turbo? I've not looked at Turbo for a long time. How's Turbo doing, more to the point? Oof. Has it fallen victim of the meme coin slaughtering? Oh, wow. You know what's really funny, right? Meme coins did well and then did nothing for ages, right? Got a little bit of volume. And you can see as well how you could probably argue, the overall ecosystem when meme coins did really badly. Then all of a sudden, boom, interest. Wow. Turbo's an interesting one. I think Dog with Hat and is it Popcat and other ones? Wow. Are meme coins dying? Is it a new load of meme coins? I mean, let's be honest, there's nothing really to look at here other than the fact that it looks like it's died. Have we got more data somewhere? There we go. More data. Cool. So, again, you could argue similar sort of situations around, obviously, what I've just mentioned in terms of key historic levels with founder level. But again, correction-wise, from the high to the low, 73%. Altcoins, man. People say to me, oh, you're so bearish on altcoins. I don't like watching you anymore because you're so bearish on altcoins. And I think to myself, well, I'll be bullish on altcoins when the time's right. But right now, it's time to consider what you're going to do with them. This could be the perfect buying opportunity, though. Let's be honest. Like, if you think about it, right? Dominance is high. Total 3/BTC is on the knees. Meme coin industry is kind of a bit iffy, but ultimately could blow off at any point. And coins are going down to all-time levels of support from back in like 2024. Some assets even lower. Obviously, I mentioned Ethereum. It could well be just a fatigue of just, well, you know what? We might be at that crunch point, that rotation point where, liquidity returns to the market when the liquidity is least expected. So yeah, Turbo, interesting one. Wow. I think insert meme coin at the minute, or insert what Murad's got in his bloody portfolio, equals down 60, 70, 80% right now, currently. So yeah, I think that's the overall situation around meme coins right now. Atom rock bottom, buy signal. Yeah, I think Atom would be exactly the same, personally. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see what's happening. I've just seen loads of people turn into Bitcoin maxis. To be fair, though, like, my attitude has always been Bitcoin dominant and having some Bitcoin. The thing is, I mentioned before, if you were playing heavy in altcoins right now, you're going to be struggling right now. What else have we got? Do you think the US debt refinancing cycle coming up in June is worth keeping some hopium for more rate cuts? That's a good point. Obviously, rate cuts are going to be very much, analytically led, i.e., what's going to happen. I don't have anything to showcase this really on my screen, but when we talk about obviously the situation around rate cuts, right? Christmas was somewhat cancelled by Jerome Powell for the obvious in the room. Oh, we're not going to do as many. If certain data is going to change, that will change. And then that might spook the market again because they might become as, oh, they're undecided. What if we get more rate cuts than we expected? Well, that could be bullish for the market. For me, I think Trump wants interest rates lower, but you don't want to spook the market. You don't want to, you don't want to cause a problem. Yes, people talk about QE, but ultimately you don't want to create a problem. If we get to a situation where we cut it too aggressively and something happens with certain data and it all collapses, and then we get QE, it means nothing anyways. Let's be honest, like, because if the market's corrected and collapsed, it's, oh great, we'll put the money printer on. Will it recover the markets? Probably not. No, because again, I can go on to this. Bear with me. I saw a video. Well, I kind of looked at it briefly. There's a lot of people talking about the S&P 500. Stating that it's overvalued, and you could argue yes, because it's all the way up here. What if this starts collapsing? What if the dollar goes higher? What if the Russell doesn't go as high as we think? What if, the VIX just keeps going up and there's volatility in the market and we don't get any higher? And then they've got to do something. They've got to step in. Ugh. Yeah, there's a few unanswered questions there. But then again, yeah, everyone talks about recessions and don't have any money. Well, what about if Bitcoin flies because of it? We don't know, do we? speculation. But anyways, with this is a very interesting level. Obviously, we've had a bit of a crumble the other day. We've had the DeepSeek, we've had Trump tariffs, and this is still holding up. How long can this carry on though? That's a great point as well. That could be an interesting situation, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. You know of Coins Kid? Yeah, I do. I know of him. He blocked me on EXO. He blocks everyone. Any thoughts on Aptos? It's okay, but again, I talked about this like months ago, and I look at it and I think, you know what? It's all right. But I also think, well, there's so many of these type of assets out there. I'm kind of like, well, you know, where do you begin with blockchain networks? Is everything that you need? Is a bit, how you can put insert coin here. Same with the partnerships, insert coin here. That's the thing. I've talked about it before. There's too many, there's too much water. There's too many cups for the amount of water that needs to flow into them. It's a decent asset, don't get me wrong, but will it change your life? Probably not. Why? Because look at the full dilution of it. 6.83 billion. Still a decent chunk that needs to come out. Realistically, I don't know how long their thing's going to be for in terms of their dilution, but if the longer this market stays like this, the less effective these are going to become. I mean, since its all-time low, it's only up 94%. That's quite a telling sign of where it is in terms of its market kind of situation. It's down 69% since its all-time high. So if we're looking at the basic analysis of this, bear with me. What have I got? Qcoin, there we go. Wow, look at that. All the way down to summer levels again. It's like every single altcoin into here is looking the exact same. It's because of how the price works, because of Bitcoin, basically. You don't know that, then you should probably jump on one of these courses. Free plug. There's free courses here. There's also little cheap paid ones as well. 3 paid ones, 3 free ones. But yeah, price analysis. Every altcoin is hitting historic levels. We can't keep going on forever, right? Because for obvious reasons, right? What about if we're going to do a pullback? Let's just, I'll probably ignore that wick actually. What if we do pull back up to these levels? What happens then? We wiggle up to here somewhere. People start getting excited again. People start jumping in the market. 2 feet. Could get fun if that happens. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, there's a lot of like situation where you look at these levels and you think, you know what? We've got to bottom around here somewhere. Surely. How low can we go? Obviously, the situation would be if Bitcoin nukes itself and dies. I've mentioned before, mid-range. But what if it does? Your altcoin's going to go way lower. But mentioned before, if you're buying the highs, you don't want to buy the lows, well, it's on you. Wow, this is like proper historic levels. It's mad, isn't it? Every single altcoin just looks like that. Not completely, but you get the idea. Not looking good though. Also, it's momentum and not Bitcoin yet. But ultimately, what's priced in with Bitcoin? Obvious, the USD price. And then you've got the situation, well, every single altcoin over the last 3 years is down in the BTC pair. If Bitcoin sneezes and goes down to $85,000 or $80,000, then, oh god, it's going to be rough for the altcoins. Is it best to DCA DCA Bitcoin only next bear market? This is my first cycle, being 100% alt till now. My plan is to sell alts this year and buy only BTC. Personally, I've been dollar cost averaging the Bitcoin all the way since September of last year into now. I do it on Swissborg. Amazing little DCA that works very, very well there. For me, it's up to you. At the end of the day, if your altcoins are going to go up a little bit, nothing crazy, just a little bit of a trickle up to the upside, and they go up in BTC values, sell it into Bitcoin if you need to, or if you can. Hold Bitcoin's probably the easiest way of doing it. But yeah, you just gotta be mindful of it at the end of the day. When you look at all these charts and you look at all these sort of especially the BTC pairs, they're down a lot. They're only going to go down so much. But as I said before, if the USD price of the BTC sort of nuke itself, it's going to nuke everything else with it. It's going to be horrible. The only thing that looks semi-decent is this. And even then, it's had a horrendously big correction, realistically. Even XRP. Look at that. It's mad. Absolutely mental vibes is. I still can't believe that happened. That's a huge pump. Shame there's been no follow through though. So yeah, if Bitcoin goes below these levels, altcoins are going to hurt. And everyone will be scrambling in disbelief. I'm only up on my altcoins, but the same price. You can't be up in BTC though. If you've bought altcoins, you'll be down massively in Bitcoin. If you do the maths of like what your Bitcoin price was when you bought that day and the Satoshi value, you're gonna be disappointed. Spurs or Liverpool tonight? Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan anyway. Woof, woof. Plus, Spurs can't keep a clean sheet half the time, especially away from home. Let's have a look at Swiss Bong. Quite right, this. I've got a little bag of this now, only because I'm expecting like the world of retail to go a bit bananas at some point, and then we're going to see a squirt to the upside like this again, and it's consolidating quite well. It was consolidating quite nicely. Again, same situation around everything around the market is trying to hold a level of past kind of situations. Weekly time frame might look interesting. There you go. Look at that. Are we going to hold around this level? That's mad. Mad to think where the prices could be going here for altcoins, in my opinion. I think there is massive fatigue right now. 100%. 100%. Who's holding Bitcoin and who's holding altcoin? That's what I want to know. Sorry, I've never heard of it. What is Aerobud? I'm not going to do stuff I've never heard of, by the way, because I don't want to look like I'm paid shilling. That's the problem with live streams, so don't take it personally. No. Let's not talk about an $18 million market cap meme coin for obvious reasons. I get enough shit as it is, man. So yeah, don't take it personally, but I'm not doing it as a platform. BTC dominance needs to fall below 50% for altcoins can rally. Yeah, I agree. Bitcoin dominance needs to swap. It needs to kind of nuke itself a little bit. What needs to happen is there needs to be liquidity found. And that liquidity might be like the driving situation is obviously low liquidity coins at the floors, catch a bid, boom, off they go. And then that could get very, very interesting. If that doesn't happen, well, it's just going to take time. But we're at that point, I think, where it's going to get interesting for the market. That's my overall opinion, anyways. But we'll see how things go. At the end of the day, things could be interesting. Sold my BTC a few months ago, back to get alts. 100% in alts now is a bad move. So far. Yeah, I think everyone can agree with that. I think for me, always have Bitcoin. Always. Doesn't matter what percentage you've got. I think you should always have something like that. Because what it does is, like, weirdly, right, we look at it, and when we look at BTC, it's a store of value. And the one thing that people forget is, obviously, yes, obviously this is like not the greatest chart in the world, but when you're toggling between your portfolio and you're looking at the BTC value, that's where the wealth is, not the USD value. So obviously, if you can hold as many Satoshis as possible and you're growing them, sweet. But ultimately, if it's holding its value, even better. This is why I say to people, go back and look at your altcoins. If you bought 2 years ago and you bought like with however many USD and you look at the price of what it was, there's a good chance that you're looking at something over the last 2 or 3 years thinking, yeah, I bought at $5 on dot or $4 on dot and I'm still up or whatever. But actually, you're down massively in the BTC value because Bitcoin just done really well. That's all it is. That's the only situation. That's a big problem here. But hey, do starting to get some weird questions now. This is why I'm not open to questions. But yeah. Do you think sushi and GRT can reach all-time high? I don't know. GRT had a bit of a run, didn't it? Sushi had a bit of a run. I'm not confident because I think that was a mental run. I mean, that's going to take some doing. It also depends on how much dilution's happened too. because obviously, yeah, dilution's a big thing. I mean, oh God, that looks cooked. Wow. Hoo-hoo. Yee boy. Sushi probably look the same. I think GRT had a lot of emissions. I think. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, I think a lot of it was like the supply was probably quite low. If I go back in time, you can normally tell by the market cap. So yeah, even when it was like stupidly high in terms of value, it was only like a 5 point something billion market cap coin. It's currently 1.28 and it's down 95%. The maths don't stack up there. So obviously there's been a huge dilution. So yeah, that's where the big problems with altcoins and the fatigue kicks in. The dilution is ridiculous. So for obvious reasons, yeah, if it does its return of like 10x, it's going to be like a lot more in terms of value of that, in my opinion. It's going to be way more. Huge amounts. It's going to be stupid amounts, actually. So you need to be mindful of it. And she actually looks like the Rose chat. Yeah, Rose is another thing that's just died off, isn't it? Changed their narrative and then off they went. Down, down, down. Anyways, appreciate everyone turning up. I'm going to shoot now. I'm going to chill out and relax. Not a lot happening realistically today. I think we need some sort of catalyst, so to speak, and that catalyst could just literally spook the market, and then we might get some short squeezes, and that might trigger things to happen. I mean, let's be honest, we can't go much lower. Like, those BTC pairs on certain things are stupidly low. Bitcoin dominance is high. You know, people are calling for bloody Armageddon right now, but I think we're going to get a bounce at some point. There'll be relief. February is always a good month for Ethereum too. Anyways, if you've not yet done so, leave a like. Let's get as many likes as possible. Share it out, and I'll see you again very, very soon.